Now, the question of where Hillary Clinton is getting money to fund her campaign is a pretty important one, especially since her opponent, Bernie Sanders, has raised the majority of his money from individual donations averaging about $27 apiece. Now, according to campaign finance reports filed last week, Hillary Clinton's campaign has raised more than $1.5 million with the help of lobbyists in the first 3 months of 2016. That is on top of the more than $4 million that lobbyists bundled for her campaign in 2015, bringing her total of money raised by lobbyists to more than $5.6 million during her presidential run. And this is just the primary. Now, who are these lobbyists? Well, according to David Sirota, writing for the International Business Times, quote, among the top Clinton bundlers during this quarter were lobbyists from the firm Capitol Counsel. That firm has represented financial services companies, pharmaceutical giants, Wal-Mart, fossil fuel firm Base Enterprises, production, and a major oil industry trade association, according to federal lobbying records. Capitol Counsel's David Jones raised roughly $276,000 for Clinton in 2016. Another lobbyist at the firm, Richard Sullivan, raised more than $100,000 for Clinton in the same time period. Previous filings show that in all since 2015, Jones has bundled Clinton more than $663,000, and Sullivan has raised her more than $423,000, for a combined total of more than $1 million from just 2 lobbyists at Capitol Counsel. They seem like they're pretty good at raising money. I wonder where they're raising money from. Oh, right, probably other rich people. Now, wait a minute here. Right. Now, I mentioned that some of these lobbyists are from pharmaceutical companies. Now, I thought Big Pharma was actually one of Hillary Clinton's greatest enemies. It turns out, while they may be enemies, their mutual friends seem to be lobbyists. And actually, speaking of her friends, here's a few more. Other lobbyists listed as top Clinton bundlers in the reports filed Friday include Frederick Humphreys, one of Microsoft's top lobbyists, bundling a total of $48,345. David Leiter, who federal records show has lobbied for ExxonMobil, Dow, and Cablevision. He got $54,825 bundled for Mrs. Clinton. Steve Elmendorf, who federal records shows lobbied for Citigroup, Goldman Sachs, and a Wall Street trade association that says it is comprised of the CEOs of 16 of the largest, most diversified financial services institutions with business operations in the United States. He bundled $23,275 for Mrs. Clinton. Then you have Tony Podesta, who's a lobbyist who is the brother of Clinton's campaign chairman and who federal records show has represented the healthcare industry, major financial conglomerates, Wal-Mart, and oil giant BP. Podesta's firm, the Podesta Group, also recently registered to lobby on behalf of the Saudi Arabian government. Wow. And that's according to filings with the Department of Justice. How much did he bundle for Clinton? $35,560. Another one of her friends, Irene Bueno, who federal records show has lobbied for Theranos, an embattled blood testing company that has faced criticism from federal health regulators. She has bundled $27,560. Wow. So there you go. Now, here's the thing, right? Now, she says, after protests that happened outside one of the recent fundraisers for Hillary Clinton, that might have been one of the Clooney ones, since then, Bernie Sanders has actually been coming out with ads criticizing the way that she raises money or where she raises money from. Now, there have been multiple examples of campaign cash going to Clinton from industries that benefited from her public policy stance. And though she has previously criticized Obama for accepting such money from donors who benefited from his positions, she has maintained that she has not been influenced by campaign money. In a recent interview with the Philadelphia Inquirer, Clinton said she only offers donors the potential of help, but not a promise when they make public policy requests. Quote, I always say I will look into something, but I always tell people there is no guarantee that if I look into something that you are going to like my answer. Well, seems like her answers are pretty good because they keep giving her money. Now, a good example of this, right, on her helping industry and actually, being corrupted by the money is back when there was the bankruptcy bill. You had Elizabeth Warren out there saying that Clinton had actually vowed to stop a bill that would reform bankruptcy laws, right? Now, this bankruptcy bill would have really helped creditors and predatory, institutions. Clinton said, oh, well, I'm against that terrible bill. But then she got into the Senate with the help of large corporations and the financial industry, and suddenly she was one of the 83 senators that voted for the bill. And now we have bankruptcy reform. Now maybe, as I said, it's because of the financial industry, specifically banks and credit card companies gave her so much money, and that's why she changed her vote. However, she continues to claim that she's not influenced by the money. Now, you got to realize, right, that if you're defending her on this, it makes no sense. It undermines her argument against Citizens United. Now, she says she's against Citizens United, right? But claims she is not influenced by the money. Well, the argument against that decision is that money in politics corrupts. It has a corrupting influence. By saying that you are not influenced by the money, you're actually agreeing with the majority opinion from Anthony Kennedy when he said, we now conclude that independent expenditures, including those made by corporations, do not give rise to corruption or the appearance of corruption. So if she is not influenced by big money, then why would she appoint a justice to get rid of it? Well, if I cannot be influenced by money, then other people can choose not to be influenced by money. So why do I have to overturn Citizens United? It works fine. I wasn't influenced, and I still got a bunch of money that helped me with my campaign. I think the only reason that she doesn't like Citizens United is that the whole case was about her to begin with. Remember, Republicans wanted to make a movie, Hillary the movie, I think, in order to use it against her in a general election. Now, that didn't happen because Barack Obama won the nomination. And a federal court tried to stop it. And that's how we got to Citizens United in the Supreme Court. Very, very short version. But here's the thing about Clinton. She takes money from big corporations, the wealthy lobbyists and bundlers. Now, not all of them are bad or have a bad motive. But there are those who do this because they want access, so that they can have a say on future policy, like special tax breaks, incentives, or government contracts or deals. And unfortunately, that's how our system works. But that's not the way it should work. And see, here's the thing. People know that. So why should we, knowing that this is wrong, believe that a candidate who takes part in the system and benefits from it would change it after being put into power because of this very same system? And see, that's why this is important. That's why Hillary Clinton, corporate Democrats, and Republicans should continuously be called out on this ridiculous system of money in politics until they change it, or until we change it by bypassing Congress. And right now, Bernie Sanders is the only person running who doesn't owe corporations for his campaign. And if money buys influence, like we know it does, that means Bernie Sanders is indebted to the people, not to the corporations, not to the lobbyists, and not to the richest Americans. And that's why everyone needs to support Bernie Sanders.